Okay, many asked how to make boards, so I thought that I would make a board video, how to make a board. So I have my kitchen scale and my Pyrex measuring cup and rabbit skin glue. This is the kind that I like. What I usually do is just put the Pyrex measuring cup on and press tear. It gives me a 0. And then I weigh about 10 grams of rabbit skin glue. And then I'll pour in 150 grams of water in here. And so I do it all by weight. So I'll sprinkle this in until it says 10, and then I'll add enough water until it says 160. When that is done, I already have that done here. And then I put it, sorry about my kitchen, on high, but I'm gonna warm it up and stir this with a spoon until I don't see any chunks. The rabbit skin glue is granular, see? And so when you put that in the distilled water, you can see it. It looks like little clear gelatin blobs. And then let me grab a spoon. And I just kind of look for chunks. And this has already been melted once. It was just getting cold. I'm making 7 boards today. So if you see any kind of chunks, these are bubbles that I'm seeing. Bubbles are okay. See the bubbles. But if I see any kind of debris, and there's a cat hair, like I said, if it doesn't have a cat hair in it, it's not a Mancini icon. And so this needs to be warmed up enough so that the collagen in the glue dissolves, but not so much that you denature the collagen, and it makes it sticky. And so you need it to be warm. If it gets too cold, it starts to solidify. Collagen is what's in Jell-O, so it works the same way. If it's warm, it's a liquid, and if it's cold, it's a semi-solid. Good fun. So I've been using this for a while today. You can kind of see some of the grittiness on the side. But anyhow, once it's liquid, you can let the rabbit skin glue sit overnight. It actually recommends you do that, but I'm never patient enough, so I don't. I just put it right in and heat it up. If it gets more than 140 degrees Fahrenheit, then you denature the collagen and it doesn't work like glue anymore. And so you've just wasted it. So I just want it warm. Oh, that's my hand going into hot stuff, and it's warm. I'm almost done. Like I said, I'm doing 7 boards. I have 4 started and 3 to go. So that's the first step, to hydrate your rabbit skin glue and to warm it up to a consistency where it's clear when you pour it, and it is, so it's ready to use. Okay, so this is a a basswood board, and I like solid basswood boards. Let's see here, so you can see, solid. I do have some that are plywood, where you can actually see layers here, and plywood's okay. What's really bad is those boards that have basswood or poplar or some hardwood on the top, and then pine on the sides. Pine is bad. Pine causes resin problems. I actually did an icon that had pine sides, and the clay bowl didn't stick to it so well. Well, it did, but see if you can see what happened. It's made like these dark spots in my frame, and that's the pine resin seeping through. And in some places it even started to chip off, and that's because of the pine. And so just something to think about. It's a hollow backboard, those ones that have pine on the sides. And so I try to avoid those. And a lot of what you buy online, that's exactly what those are. So this is solid. It will accept the rabbit skin glue. It's not going to have resin issues. And so here's the glue that I just mixed up on the stove. And it's ready to go. And then the last thing I have is my linen. And the linen has to be have holes big enough that glue can go through and that gesso can go through. So you want to be able to see through it. Cheesecloth works really well. 100% cotton, real thin. I don't have, it's not super thick. It's not super bumpy when it goes down. But if it's not got holes big enough for this stuff to get through, it's not going to work. And so you can buy like 4 yards of it online for like, I don't know, $10. So first thing I'm gonna do is prepare my board. Get my spoon out of there. I just have a cheapo craft store brush, and I'm gonna dip it in the glue. And we're gonna take the board and just get a coat of glue on it. This gets the board ready to accept the linen and kind of seals it a little bit. Rabbit skin glue is super sticky, and you are gonna get your hands in it. It's almost primal, I love it. It's like walking around in the mud. So this whole side's done. I'm gonna do both sides, even the back. This board has seen some action before, but it's still okay to use for an icon. All right, and then once you get the front and the back, you should get the sides as well. It's starting to get sticky already. And you do all 4 sides. The cut sides, that go against the green, will absorb a lot of glue. Just once or twice over that. You don't have to go nuts. If it absorbs it and it just seems to like disappear, not the end of the world, just get it all wet with glue. And I like to use, this is gonna be weird, but my bed came with these feet that I don't use because I don't have hardwood floors, I have carpet. So I just kind of set my board up on that. If you don't have something like this, you can use little bowls or little cups, little shot glasses, whatever. But I just like to get it up off the ground so that, you know, I can drape a bit. So the side of the board that I want to use, if your board has any kind of curve to it at all, like a bow, you want to go to the outside, the top of the rainbow, not the bottom of the rainbow. There's that. And then here's my linen. It's been pre-cut and sized to fit this. It's ready to go. So I'm actually going to take it and put it right into my rabbit skin glue. This is so fun. Okay, and so there's that. All right, and then I unravel it. And stick it onto the board. Now the things that we're shooting for when we're putting it on the board is we want a good seal between the board and the linen cloth. So I'm always patting it down, smoothing it out, getting rid of any air bubbles. If I see a spot that doesn't have enough glue, I just stick my finger in the glue and add it to it. So what I tend to do is just kind of pull each edge and work my way around every side of the board. Pull, 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 turn. My fingers are sticking. Pull, 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 pull. You'll see the wrinkles start to disappear. See them disappear? Okay, and then turn. And then pull, pull, pull. Pull, pull, pull. Got Blue's Clues in the background today. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, and then last but not least, the last side. It's not a lot to do because the pulling has worked on the other 3. Okay, so that is nice and tight. If you look at my board, it doesn't even look like there's anything on it. That's how nice and tight. Doesn't matter if the lines are perfectly straight. It's doing a little bit of a bow here, not a big deal. So now I got to deal with the sides. Now you can leave it like this, and when it dries, you can like run an X-Acto blade along the edge and cut the extra off. But I prefer to wrap around the back. So I'm going to turn my board over, and then I just pick one side at a time. Just kind of straighten and smooth it out. Like that. And obviously corners are fun. So I tend to just grab a corner. I got some scissors nearby, and I just kind of snip it like that. Okay. And then you just do your best in the corners to make them look nice. No one's really going to pay attention to the back of the board. And again, whenever things are drying out, you just add more glue. So this whole side's looking pretty good. So then I turn it and go to the next side. And I'm looking to make sure that my edges are nice and sealed and that there are no air bubbles there. Make sure that you don't have a double layer of linen. That makes too many, it's too thick and the glue can't get through. Learn that the hard way. And the way that it comes, sometimes you can't tell that the linen is double, so just something to check. All right, this is coming along. This board does have a little bow to it, but no worries. Part of God's creation. Okay, that side's ready. I turn it. Again, just continue to straighten and pull the edges, which will still continue to tighten up the front. And again, wherever it looks dry, you can just dip your fingers in the glue. Something, it's like being back in like kindergarten, preschool. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the boards being super sanded or anything. Just make sure that if it has a big divot or a scratch, I would make that the back. Or if there's like sawdust, oftentimes you'll find sawdust on these boards. Just dust it off. If there's a big bump, maybe sand it, but I don't spend a lot of time sanding it because we're gonna wrap it in this linen and then we're gonna wrap it in, not wrap it, but cover it with, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 layers of gesso. Okay, just depends on how my gesso's doing that day. Okay, last side. And by the time you get here, sometimes things are a little dry. So again, dip-a-roo. The back's nice to be smooth. You know, you might see it. What I think it's neat about leaving the canvas on the back is just to show how it's like handmade, and to see the linen and to see the crystals of the glue, and to appreciate the process and the love and the work that goes into creating this gospel, or you know, the Word of God in color and pictures. So fulfilling. And then we're following the techniques of the monastics, the early monks of the 1st century AD. And it's just super cool to know that you're part of some tradition that started that long ago and you're continuing it today. So, ta-da! Just kind of smoothing it all down. There's my back. Not the most beautiful back in the world, but that doesn't matter. It's going to be against a wall or a shelf or something. And then when I flip over the sides, I'm looking to see that they're all smoothed down. I'm looking to see that my corners are tight. You can see how tight that corner is. It's got a nice edge to it. And both sides are down. I just kind of rub my fingers looking for any weird spots. And there we go. So what's going to happen next is one last view of my front side. It looks pretty darn good. I'm going to let this dry, and it'll take an hour or two, and I'll come back and show you what's next. So I'm just going to put it on its little feet in the kitchen because I don't have a lot of room here, and that's where it's going to be.